Hello, my name's Robert, and welcome to RobCast. With me today, I have our producer Joshua,
Hello.
and we have a very exciting episode for you all today. Josh, you want to describe what we're going to be talking about?
Well, the world's kind of in flames since our last episode.
Yeah.
Coronavirus is rampant, and unfortunately, Robert and I have both been afflicted with it. We're actually in quarantine together right now, but we are soldiering through and to provide you this podcast, and we should be commended for that.
Commended's a strong word.
We should be given the Medal of Honor, I think.
Well, you know.
Okay, yeah. So we don't have the coronavirus, but
Yeah.
we are going to dedicate our whole episode today to talking about it, because I'm sure you haven't heard enough information. Robert's sitting in uncomfortable silence right now.
We just hope that everyone out there, stays safe and tries to stay calm during this, very stressful time for everyone. And we wish for anyone who has been affected by it, we wish them well.
That's true. I'm being a bit facetious with the topic, and I'm sure Robert's going to strangle me once we're over. But he's right. It's a serious issue. Stay safe. But we actually do, I guess, amidst all the kind of fearful news, we do have one bright spot. We have a Twitter account.
Yes.
Yes, at RobCast Podcast 1. So give you updates on us. I'm sure that you want to know everything about our lives.
Yes,
but yeah, no, mostly
personal details.
Yeah,
about
how many times I go to the bathroom. We're going to be talking about episodes of the podcast, just putting them up there and kind of just giving you details, updates about that. It'd be kind of fun. Maybe we'll make some memes.
Yeah,
maybe we'll do cool things like that. But yeah, Twitter at RobCast Podcast 1.
And now you have a way to message us and get a lot further talk to us personally and tell us about how much you hate the podcast.
Yes, that's what we want to hear. Hashtag we hate the RobCast.
Yes.
Tell us why. We also have an email, robcastpodcast1, same as the Twitter handle, at gmail.com. So for whatever reason, I don't know why you'd want to email us, but tell us how much we stink. That's where you can do it. Might as well also, I guess, kind of plug the Anchor feature. You can message us on Anchor. We'll be tweeting out the link right after we record this episode. Maybe I'll find a way to put it in my bio or the bio. But yeah, you can send us basically voice messages on Anchor that we can include in the podcast, as long as they're not too vulgar.
Yeah, or long. Try to keep it, short.
And we'll have things where we tell you what to send us, but for now, we'll just let you know about that option, and we'll leave it open for now.
Yeah.
So, Robert, can you tell us shortly what we're going to be doing today?
Oh, shortly, Joshua. That's
Just give a brief little intro.
Now you're my strong suit. So because all the coronavirus and stuff, all the bigger entertainments are shutting down, including basketball.
Yeah, and the NBA season has been suspended, as well as March Madness this year, the NCAA tournaments.
Yes. So we decided to put our own little tournament of a superhero movie showdown March Madness bracket.
Yes.
So we're going to be debating the ultimate superhero movie when we get right back.
Yes.
So stay tuned. And we're back. So I hope you guys are ready for the ultimate superhero showdown March Madness bracket. Where we'll be deciding the ultimate superhero movie. We have a few rules to these proceedings. We've chosen 16 movies.
16.
Across all time and space.
Time, space.
To come together and battle for our entertainment.
Entertainment.
And, we have a few rules here. So basically, when choosing these movies, we decided that, we don't want to have just Avengers Infinity War, Avengers Endgame, Avengers, just all the same movies. So basically, no movie from the same title character or characters. So for instance, we can't have Spider-Man 1, Spider-Man 2 in the open here, and we can't have multiple Avengers movies in here or Guardians movies. So it's one from each kind of franchise, so to say. The second rule is that for each individual matchup, we have 3 minutes to discuss and decide amongst ourselves what the winner is. And if we can't decide, we each have a super veto card, which basically means that we can make a decision and push a movie forward in the bracket. But that can only be used within the first 2 rounds and not the
really?
2 rounds.
So we have to come to consensus in the last 2 rounds?
Yeah, we have to argue as long as it takes. We'll be here all night.
Cool.
It's gonna be a 5-hour podcast.
Just a quick question: who came up with the name Super Vito?
That would be you. This is actually all Joshua's idea. I want to really appreciate that. Stepping up as a producer.
I mean,
I don't know. It's good co-host material someday. I don't know.
I could only dream.
No, but I'm really excited for this. So you want to explain the different categories we have?
Yes, I do. So we kind of segmented our 16 movies into 4 different segments. So we have 2 Marvel segments, 1 DC segment, and 1 animated movies and other kind of non-live action DC Marvel movies. So within those segments, we'll have basically 1 from each, and then in the quote-unquote conference finals, they'll meet and we'll narrow it down to 1 true winner. So I think to start with today, we should start with the first Marvel bracket, and that would pit Iron Man against Black Panther.
Ooh. Well,
it's a tough choice.
Yeah. So I love both these movies, but honestly, I'd have to go with Iron Man.
Really?
The classic first MCU movie, just starting it all off.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Just from the moment I saw this movie, this wasn't really my first MCU movie that I saw, but like, it's a really good one.
Yeah, it's like your first kiss.
Yeah, I know. I feel like just because I did a rewatch of all the MCU movies leading up to Avengers Endgame.
Online parody where all the characters are played by cows?
Yes. And when rewatching this one, which was the first one I rewatched, I was just blown away. It's like, because I didn't remember this is that good.
Yeah.
And just for all it's worth, that like at the time where superhero movies wasn't such a big thing, that this was able to kind of sprout all this and still be an amazing movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, interesting. So Iron Man's a really good movie. Black Panther, I would say, maybe would have that effect as well as being the first. It is kind of in that. It's not an origin story like Iron Man, but we get to really see a new world here with Wakanda and kind of all the different intricacies of that. It has that kind of comeback story too that you want to see, like in terms of obviously Killmonger taking over Wakanda at one point, which I think leads to some really high stakes as well. Okay, I'm just gonna break character.
Yeah.
There's a raccoon on our neighbor's roof.
Yeah, we have a window, and there's a huge raccoon on the roof
of our neighbor's house.
Sorry for interrupting here.
No, this is great. We'll give them live updates. So currently the raccoon's perched on the corner of the roof and appears to be going around to the other side.
It also appears to be scratching inside the gutters for food, and now it is going inside the gutter.
Inside. So background: our neighbor's roof is. Are we going to give them back? Basically, our neighbor's house has been sold, but no one lives there.
Yeah.
The new owners haven't come to take it in yet. So it's basically just been left. People come to mow the grass just because of city bylaws every once in a while, but the house is basically left to itself. And so these raccoons have basically torn down the gutter, and they now live in the rafters of the roof, essentially.
The empty space.
Yeah, so this raccoon just came, was it from the tree? When did you first see it?
It just saw on the roof.
Cool, so we saw it on the roof, and it basically just went down into the roof.
And it's disappeared.
And it disappeared inside the house. So interesting.
Huh.
Much like Black Panther disappeared in the water after Killmonger kicked them off of the cliff.
Let's transition back in.
There we go. So Black Panther, lots of good attributes, cool new world, kind of had a political atmosphere too, and the old ways versus the new ways. So definitely different themes, and the visuals were also top notch. But again, I would agree, Iron Man had that good balance between kind of a gritty, realistic superhero movie, but also lighthearted moments, and it's just a really cool origin story.
I know, yeah.
They do it perfectly. The final fight could be better, I would say, in Iron Man, but personally, it was good.
Personally, if we're comparing,
to be honest, I can't. I only say that just because of the trope I've seen in Black Panther of the hero fighting against himself, like his mirror villain type thing. But Iron Man was the first kind of to do that, so we can't really take off points there.
Yeah, especially. Although to be fair, like Killmonger as a villain itself, like I'm kind of fine where in that instance where they do it there because he's actually such a good villain,
right?
And what's the name behind him? Yes, we definitely saw these movies in preparation for this, all 16 of them.
I saw every single one 3 times.
Yes.
Before this podcast.
We prepped. But the villain in Iron Man, what's his name?
Ironmonger, Obadiah Stane.
Obadiah Stane. I believe he's a pretty solid villain too. Like he might just be like the bad guy thing, but his relationship with Iron Man kind of like the inherited mentor. You have to like deal with this like little bratty kid. It's just an interesting dynamic, and I really kind of wish we got more of this kind of connection between the hero and villain in more modern days.
In Black Panther?
No, not Black Panther.
Black Panther, Killmonger was amazing. That's probably one of the strengths that you might put it over Iron Man.
What I'm saying is that like I'm glad to see that still carries on and it's translated and done even better. We're learning.
Right. We're sentient.
So what are we saying?
Iron Man? Yeah.
Okay, so Iron Man carries on to the second round.
Awesome. And we're only a minute over our time limit.
Nice. Well, we have the raccoon watch then.
Yeah, that's true.
We'll keep you posted about the raccoon.
Yeah, if it pops out again. That was actually
because we all know you guys are here to for the.
This raccoon. Is a raccoon podcast.
Yeah, the Rackcast.
The Rackcast. Okay. So second one in our Marvel bracket is Avengers versus Guardians in the Galaxy.
Yes, our team movie bracket. Our team movie bracket.
I wish it was a teen movie.
Yeah.
We should do a teen movie bracket.
We should.
Okay, let's scrap this. Okay, yeah, so we got Legally Blonde and against probably Mean Girls.
Mean Girls, yeah.
I don't
have to say Mean Girls. I love Mean Girls.
No, Legally Blonde. You haven't watched Legally Blonde. It's really good.
It's good.
Anyways,
I've seen Mean Girls though.
Yeah, which is a fine movie. Anyways,
back
team movies.
Yes, team movies.
Avengers versus Guardians.
Okay, you want to start us off?
What's your gut feeling right here? Gut.
So when deciding, which the winner is here, like I go for two things: either the like most well-made movie or the movie that I would like want to watch. And in that case, it would have to be Guardians. It might be a controversial topic. Avengers itself is like not like thematically and structurally a better movie, but just like I love Guardians. It's a corporation of music. I love every character. Just gets introduced. Everyone's a good thing. The action's really good. Groot's literally like one of my favorite MCU characters. Like right under Spider-Man.
For sure.
And it's an overall just a really solid movie.
Interesting. Yeah, it is a tough one. I might go against you this one just on Avengers. In terms of your point, I would even argue that obviously there's that lull between when they first meet to kind of the final battle where it's kind of lags a bit or in that first like little bit. But I think just you can't beat seeing all those characters together for the first time.
Yeah.
And I think Avengers was made in that period before the MCU formula got very, not necessarily repetitive, but very formulaic, if that's a word. Like kind of an MCU movie, they have their own distinct flavor and style, but Avengers was still in that initial component. So you just get classic dialogue. The characters aren't just, not that, again, I don't want to critique later MCU movies, I love it, but the characters haven't necessarily gotten to that kind of caricature of themselves point where you know the characters, you know so much about them, and they kind of play into their personalities as characters do, but you kind of are still figuring stuff out about them, and you kind of get that classic Avengers comic dialogue, the bickering of the family of the Avengers, and even aside from the beautiful visuals, the action and everything, just that dynamic in itself is so rewarding to watch. So I'd have to go with Avengers for this one.
But like when you're talking about like kind of formulaic, Guardians is the exact opposite of that. Like it's a new mold. Like that's what like Guardians is what we hope Eternals will be.
Yeah.
Kind of just opening up a new section of the the MCU to new characters, new ideas, new concepts. Like introducing the idea of Eternals in that movie, and not Eternals, Celestials in that movie, and Infinity Stones, and building it out. The MCU today would not be what it was without Guardians.
Yeah, I think Guardians did take a step to the next phase of the MCU movies, but I think Avengers it started that. You can't beat that.
You're kind of right.
I can understand Guardians I don't think it's as controversial as you might suggest, but personally, I'd go with Avengers. If I'm gonna sit down and watch a movie between Guardians and Avengers, I would probably go with Avengers.
Because I'm thinking what you said about like, I think I'm switching to Avengers as well. You don't
have to switch, but you can agree that
I'm agreeing.
You can see my point.
I can see your points, and I say let's let Avengers sneak through to the second round here.
Okay.
And I really enjoy it. One bit that I do love is the Avengers like ability to like kind of like structurally in the script there's a lot of callback humor. I love the scene where it's like Nick Fury's like, oh yeah, I'm sure I'll surprise you, and Cap's like, oh yeah, our famous segment. Oh, remember when this happened?
Is that our?
Yes, that's our new.
Do we have a segment called that?
Well, we always are like, oh, remember when this happened? Then we misquote the thing.
You misquote the thing.
Okay, I misquote the thing, and then future listeners will, bicker at us angrily on Twitter.
Yeah.
Follow our Twitter account.
At RobCast
at
Podcast
RobCast.
1.
No, but like I just love like all, like what you said, the dialogue of like Rob Downey Jr.'s Iron Man walking in and being like, "Yep, that dude's playing
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Yeah.
It's good stuff. It's good stuff.
Yeah, so let's put Avengers 2 to the second round.
Awesome. Okay, so our next matchup is Spider-Man 2 versus X2.
Yes.
I'll start us off here. Spider-Man 2.
Yes, Spider-Man 2.
Okay, so on to our next round. No.
We are very biased.
We're going to be biased because Spider-Man 2 is the best superhero movie of all time, and you can't convince me otherwise. The blend between following the minutiae of the hero's life and getting that grandeur of the superhero experience, along with the purpose of why do I have powers? Do I want these powers? Seeing Peter's angst and him growing into that role, realizing that he needs to be Spider-Man because he can't shirk his responsibility to help the people of New York due to that responsibility, the power that he is given. I don't think you might have heard this before, but in the movie, there's a phrase that goes with great power comes great responsibility.
Really?
And this, yeah,
I haven't heard that before.
I know, it's pretty obscure, but in this movie, he basically sets that up and delivers why that is why it is and the essence of what that is.
And also like the amazing filmmaking by Sam Raimi. You got the horror elements, got the amazing humor.
You know Sam Raimi's our uncle?
Yeah, Uncle Raimi.
Yeah. We're not joking. Yeah. He brought a good potato salad to the last family barbecue.
Yes, it was quite good.
Yeah.
But Spider-Man 2 is my favorite movie of all time. So,
Any love for X2?
X2, like as people say, like this would have to be one of my of the original 3 X-Men movies. This one's probably my favorite.
Yeah.
We got the introduction of Knight Rider and probably like
of who?
Knight Rider.
Knight Rider.
Yes.
Knight Rider.
Nightcrawler.
Actually, I love Kit. I love Kit.
Kit.
Next to.
Yeah, David Hasselhoff rolls in.
It's amazing.
No, but we had the introduction of Nightcrawler in the opening scene of the movie, and
that was the opening scene.
One of the opening scenes, like they
I know what scene you're talking about.
They have like the intro X-Men scenes, but it's just amazing. Like when he just goes in brainwashed, just like into the White House, in the president's, just
bathroom.
Yeah, the president's like secret bathroom, just teleporting in, just wrecking everyone.
Yeah, that was a cool scene. X2 is definitely a great movie, but I won't want to entertain any other option other than Spider-Man 2.
Yes, agreed.
Okay, so we'll set Spider-Man 2 on in the thing.
Yes, Spider-Man 2 takes the cake.
Cool. Okay, so our next one...
Or cookies with nuts in them. Takes the cookies with nuts.
Do you have any nuts in these?
I can go make some.
Go make me some.
Okay.
Nice.
Good.
Cool. Okay.
I get those references.
Yeah. So our next one is Captain America: The Winter Soldier versus Thor: Ragnarok.
Ooh.
This is a tough one.
This is a very difficult one.
I went through the bracket before and kind of said, okay, I'm leaning towards this one, leaning towards that one, and whatever. This one, honestly, I think I'll let you go first.
It's a swaying teeter-totter here because I love both these movies for different reasons. Thor Ragnarok is just hilarious, and I love its adaptation of the Planet Hulk storyline and the way that it just completely fixed a character that I already love. Because in Age of Ultron, I really enjoyed Thor and kind of like humor, and it kind of drove more to that in this movie.
Yes.
But Captain America, man.
Yeah.
From the elevator fight to, just the story with Bucky, the overall, kind of premise of having just, the reveal, it's just all building up to, what is one of the best MCU movies,
Yes.
It's, more lower level because I don't enjoy these big blue sky beams. It's very hand to hand because Captain America isn't really, he's powerful, but he can't shoot plasma beams out of his hands and do
for sure
stuff. He can't just go and solve the problem. He has to work for it, and that's why I think Captain America, the Winter Soldier, has to take the cake for this one.
I do love the action Winter Soldier. Just that scene where he and Bucky are fighting, after they get turned off the highway or whatever. Yeah. Man, that's amazing. Yes. But actually, to be honest, I was kind of leaning towards Thor Ragnarok.
Really?
Just because I think Thor Ragnarok is one of the perfect comic book movie adaptations in that it's what a comic book should be. There's stakes. You understand Thor's motivations, where he comes from in terms of Asgard and his family and all of that. But it interweaves the humor so well with the stakes and with the actual relationships between the characters and all of that. So just between the humor and the visuals, which are amazing, very colorful, vibrant, I think it's really it's a comic book on screen.
Mhm.
It just in a way that we never really seen before. And like you said with Thor Ragnarok, it really set a new standard for the Thor character that we saw in Infinity War and Endgame, and which is awesome. Funny Thor. He also can feel those things even in Endgame, like we saw he was like depressed half the time and all of that. But a new Thor, and I really did like Ragnarok. Winter Soldier. I think we might go with Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
You seem to be more strong on it than I am in Ragnarok, because I do love Winter Soldier a tremendous amount, just between the fight and, like you said, the grittiness. And that's really what a gritty comic book movie should look like. Really, Winter Soldier as a and again, yes. So I think we'll probably go with Winter Soldier. I love Winter Soldier too. So it's not nothing for me. Okay, excellent. So we'll put that on there, and that concludes the Marvel side of our bracket.
Yes.
So with the non-Marvel side of our bracket, I suppose we can maybe start with The Incredibles versus Megamind.
Yes, this is our purely animated movie bracket. And
Matchup.
Is the whole thing a bracket, or
Yeah, the totality is a bracket comprised of
bracket.
individual matchups.
Okay,
It's important to
gotcha.
get the lexicon down.
Lexicon. Okay. So I thought long and hard on this, because The Incredibles and Megamind are two movies I really love. And when deciding, between these two movies for this matchup, honestly, it came down to this. If you ask me, Rob, you want to watch Megamind or Incredibles right now, I would have to say Megamind. And that might be the controversial topic. Incredibles is systematically a better movie, but I don't know, just Megamind, like, between, like, the music and the story, it's like, I don't know, I just love it. It's just a movie that I grew up with and I really enjoy.
Right. It's an interesting one. I mean, Megamind is definitely, I would say, it's more of a fun movie for sure. But I think The Incredibles it's like a perfect movie. It's that kind of movie that transcends the animated family movie to become like an actual good movie. And you get to see some stakes. You get some real life stuff too. Like Megamind obviously had a lot of different themes too. The interesting thing of the villain kind of becoming the hero and having what your purpose is in life and all of that. But I think Incredibles is a little bit more relatable. We get a lot of that family drama too, which is very interesting to see, that these people with these powers being forced to hide, they have their struggles too. They're just like us. They're people, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's really interesting to watch, and the development of that and that family dynamic as they kind of come together to eventually at the end to kind of be proud of their powers and to put them forth. So I might go. It's difficult, even in terms of it depends what we base it on. Incredibles is maybe a better movie. Movies I want to watch, maybe does Megamind get it pushed up there a little bit?
Yeah, like, I don't know, because systematically and like structurally wise, Incredibles is more of a breaking it down like action stuff. Incredibles is a stronger movie overall,
Mm-hmm.
and that's up for debate, of course. But I don't know, just Megamind just brings a smile to my face, and it's a real one under the radar. Like, a lot of people haven't heard about it. It came out a few months after Despicable Me came out.
Yeah,
It's very similar. Like, evil dude becomes a good guy, has minions named Minion.
Yeah,
it's a very kind of similar, so it was kind of undershadowed and underappreciated, and I'm really glad in the recent years it's actually being more talked about and more appreciated. So I think I might have to do a super veto here.
Oh,
and
push Megamind
into the next round.
Interesting. Okay, this is the first super veto.
Yeah. So
boing, 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 boing. Add like a sound effect.
Nice sound effect. Nice.
Wah, 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 wah.
Yeah, I can add these sound effects later. I don't need you to like.
I think the listeners want it this way.
Listeners want it this way. Well,
the ladies want it this way.
Oh boy. So ladies, reach Joshua on the email, on Twitter, to tell him how much you would love his sound effects.
Yes.
To remind those, Super Veto basically allows me to push a movie to the next round, and I'm going to push Megamind.
Very fun. Okay, so Megamind's ahead. Second round. So next side of our bracket, two more kind of family-friendly oriented movies. We have Into the Spider-Verse against Sky High. Mm-hmm. That's a very interesting matchup, I think.
Yes, very much so. Into the Spider-Verse is in my top 5 favorite Spider-Man movies.
That's not saying much. There's like 9 of them.
Yeah, but I love a lot of them. because I can't really decide.
Well-
Definitely the best animated Spider-Man movie. Hands down.
Again, there's
Also
even
the only one, but
less.
still.
Well, probably not the only one, but the most commercially released one, I'd say 100%.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
There's lots of animated stuff for everything.
Yeah, but movies, because the TV shows are amazing.
Yeah, I'm sure there's lots of animated Spider-Man movies too.
Yeah.
Let's ask our producer.
What's up, producer? Is there any animated Spider-Man movies?
Animated Spider-Man.
So I'm pretty sure you're the
movies.
producer here.
Anyways, I'm gonna look that up. Keep talking about that.
And then there's Sky High, one that even more than Megamind, I'm pretty sure you guys wouldn't have heard of. Sky High is it's kind of like a spoof movie in like kind of the feel of Spy Kids.
Spy Kids is a spoof movie?
Okay,
It's
like
kind of a kids movie.
I don't know,
but it's like a superhero movie. Basically, everyone has powers, and it's a bit tongue in cheek because it's very funny in the way that they deal with it, and the way like they go to school, and the way that the superhero tropes are kind of exploited and overblown in a sense.
even the fact they go to school, because the basic premise is that it's high school, but everyone has superpowers.
Yeah, exactly.
These superheroes.
Yeah.
It's one of those beautiful early 2000 gems,
Yes.
and kind of the same feel of the Zoom movie or Spy Kids or Agent Cody Banks.
Sure.
It's kind of those like early 2000 movies that I don't know, I just grew up with.
I agree,
and
100%.
Just fell in love with.
Fell in love. Didn't you have your first kiss after seeing Sky High?
No, Josh, I did not have my first kiss
Oh,
after
okay.
seeing Sky High.
Sorry. Maybe that was me.
That was you? I love Sky High just for all its corniness and cheesiness, and it has a really good cover of, some of my favorite songs.
Oh, yeah, very good. True by Spandau Ballet.
Yeah.
Melt with Me or Melt with You.
I'll know.
I just want to melt with you.
No.
Yeah, it's basically
No.
like that. It's similar. I'll stop the world and melt with you.
That's more like
There we go. Okay. I would say that we're both heavily biased in terms of Sky High because I just love the movie.
Same.
But should we just? I'm gonna use my super veto.
No.
I'm using my super veto to push Sky High through because I love
okay.
Sky High. Very funny.
I was agreeing with Sky.
But like if we look at it realistically, we can't necessarily say that.
Oh wait, so we're saying is that people are gonna get angry because Spyverse is like a really good movie.
Yeah, people will get angry.
But they're gonna get angry.
will get angry.
But they're gonna get angry at you because you use your super veto card, and I have no choice.
Yeah.
So for the sake of arguments, I think Spider-Verse will go through.
Well, technically, I was more Spider-Verse than you, but
if you wanted to use your super veto, go ahead.
I'm gonna use my super veto. Just I love Sky High. Very funny, very self-aware movie in that sense.
Mm-hmm.
Kurt Russell.
Yes, Kurt Russell's in. They have a lot of good talent in this. Like
Kurt Russell, the girl from The Flash, whose name is
Danielle Pennebaker.
Yeah, Danielle Pennebaker.
Mary Elizabeth Wilson, or who is?
Is it Wilson?
It's Wilston.
There's W.I. It's Winstead.
Who's
so
in
funny.
the new Harley Quinn in the they actually changed the title. It's Harley Quinn, Birds of Prey, and the Emancipated
in the Fabulous Emancipation of Harley Quinn.
One Harley Quinn. Bruce Campbell's in this.
Bruce Campbell, Linda Carter, the original Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Kelly Preston, who starred in a number of movies in the 80s. Anyways, sorry to go on a tangent, but yeah, we love the movie.
Yes.
We're biased.
And Bruce Campbell's in this.
You can't stop us.
And Bruce Campbell plays the single best character ever, Coach Boomer. Very hip with the kids.
The single best character ever in each of the 3 Raimi Spider-Man movies.
He just like the best character ever.
He's the best. Bruce Campbell. Anyways, so good. So Sky High in the second round.
And that brings us to our DC portion of the bracket. The first matchup we got here is Wonder Woman versus the Dark Knight.
Yes, quite a salacious matchup, in my humble opinion. So Robert, why don't you give us a bit of overview here?
So Dark Knight and Wonder Woman are both really good movies. One from DCEU, one its own standalone movie. The Dark Knight's of course directed by Christopher Nolan, who has a movie coming this year named Tenet.
Yes, which we discussed in the last podcast, starring NHL superstar Sean Avery.
Which we also discussed is how Joshua has not seen the movie Wonder Woman, and he is yet to see it from since the last time we recorded the podcast.
It's okay, we're all in quarantine now, so I'm sure I'll get around to watching it eventually.
But Wonder Woman's a really good movie. It's based during World War I believe. And
World War I or World War II?
Well, it reveals chemical weapons for the first time, so that's World War One.
Smart man. Yes.
That's grade 10 history finally coming back.
Yeah, very
for
good.
something.
Yeah.
No, but it's a really interesting story. But personally, I just thought like out of all the DC movies, so it was like Shazam. This one kind of like my favorites, and I wanted to include one from here. Although I think we all know because we're biased, and
Just a little bit.
that Dark Knight's kind of the win here because Heath Ledger is literally one of the best Jokers who has ever happened.
Oh, for sure.
Your opinion on the new one, but you like even whatever your opinion is on the new Joker, you cannot deny that Heath Ledger was perfect for the role,
and he kind of
fortunate that he can live to do a sequel.
For sure, and he kind of started the mystique of the Joker too, right? Obviously, Jack Nicholson was great. That's Cesaro Romano, I believe, in the Batman 1967. Or
well, that went for a few years.
Yeah, but whatever.
60s Batman.
Yeah, but they're both great in the role. Mark Hamill as well as a voice actor, but I think that kind of started that modern incarnation of the Joker and the modern fandom that kind of exists today. So again, having not seen Wonder Woman, I'll have to kind of take your word for it. I've heard good things on Wonder Woman as well. Great movie. That's not why I haven't watched it. I'm just terrible at sitting down and watching anything. But yeah, I think Dark Knight here, just the tone is phenomenal. And I think the key for me here, number one, the stakes. The stakes are set. You feel as if like Batman or whomever might be hurt in a sense. There's tangible stakes, and we see that with Rachel as well getting killed at the end of the movie. And so stakes as well as the plot is also very, very good, very tightly knit. Lots of twists and turns, so that would put Dark Knight over the edge with me. Again, I haven't seen Wonder Woman, but you seem to be in agreement.
Just Dark Knight, amazing movie. The kind of the sense of Harvey Dent and really the thematic questions that it raises about, do you die the hero or do you live long enough to see yourself become the villain? And I believe that this movie kind of really, for all its flaws, which are few, is just an amazing movie. And the score and just like everything just comes together to make one of the finest superhero movies of all time.
Yep, agreed.
Yes.
So, Dark Knight, second round. So, our next matchup, I believe we're going to go with Batman 1989, the Michael Keaton movie, against the Man of Steel, a more modern incarnation of Superman.
Yes.
We could insert the 1978 or whatever Superman in here. Robert hasn't seen it, but I have.
Okay.
Do you want to do that?
Want to talk about the oldies?
I think just having the first incarnations of both characters might be a good thing.
Probably good, because I was not a fan of
Man of Steel, no?
Man of Steel. Well, for Man of Steel, we can probably talk about like a quick 15-second take. It was good, but I don't know. This, from what I've seen from like clips and like the bit I have seen the movie, like it's just not my Superman. Like Superman should be like because I watched a lot of the anime stuff. Superman's just like kind of like your grandpa, like jolly old, just wants the best for everyone. Although Henry Cavill did have a nice beard in that movie, and it wasn't the beard that wrecked Justice League, but it was a nice beard.
Yep, I would agree with that. Of everything that was said right there. Anyways, so sure, let's put the original Superman into that. Give me a little bit of an oldies matchup there. So
that leaves us with Batman 89 and the original
Superman, I believe 1978 is when it came out. Give a bit of an overview for your convenience of that. I really enjoyed it. I watched it in the past couple of days. Again, the plot isn't necessarily as tight as the later superhero movies that would come, but I think it's really cool. Gives us a good Superman origin, number one. That's cool. Number two, the characters are pretty fun. We have Perry White, Jimmy Olsen, Lois Lane, of course, all the regular characters acted well. But the really thing that I loved in the movie was kind of the duality of Clark Kent. The way that Christopher Reeves was able to play Clark Kent and Superman so differently and so believably so that you could see how people don't necessarily see that Clark Kent is Superman. That was really cool from my perspective. It's been a while since I had watched this movie. And of course, Gene Hackman was great as Lex Luthor, despite all the plot holes and everything. But it was a pretty cool movie for that time and for what it was trying to accomplish. It was cool. It was fun. It was really good. So that's an overview for you. However, I would kind of put Batman 1989 ahead of it. I think I watched that recently last year, and I think the darker tone of 1989 was really cool to see. It was kind of that first movie incarnation of Batman that had that kind of an edgier tone. And even though obviously they don't really get into the fighting scenes and the amount of like dark violence that we kind of see today in terms of that. The fact that Tim Burton directed it and the visuals in that sense give it that kind of darker edge. And even for the time, the fighting and the way it's visually presented, credit to Tim Burton for that, really, you do get that dark tone and you do have that vibe when you watch the movie. And,
of course, the aesthetic of the Tim Burton like Batman films, especially earlier on, was just really cool. From the design of the Batmobile to kind of the Gotham, even the Gotham skylines, very kind of artsy and very creative and abstract with itself. And this movie just has an incredible amount of talent. As Michael Keaton, Jack Nicholson, Billy D. Williams, like just some really high level actors here. Trying to do the best. We did talk about Heath Ledger's Joker from The Dark Knight. How do you think this compares to the Jack Nicholson Joker?
Well, they're kind of different incarnations. Jack Nicholson's Joker is kind of that you kind of have more of a sense of the origin, that mobster gone dark in a sense and kind of gone crazy. And obviously with Heath Ledger, you get more of that anarchism and all of that, if you know what I mean. Kind of crazy unpredictability. You don't know what he's going to do next. While you kind of see the more criminal, the more crime mobster bent to this Joker. But both are great, and Jack Nicholson plays it extremely well. There's a couple of really cool, like, creepy scenes in that as well. And of course, like one of my favorite scenes, and I'm sure for many people it's one of the more well-known, is when Michael Keaton as Bruce Wayne kind of goes, like, you want to get crazy when the Joker comes in there too. Crazy. Yeah, very cool. It was kind of cool. He played, I think, Bruce Wayne in Batman quite well.
Yeah, I enjoy Michael Keaton, especially like in new stuff today. Like he was in a movie on Netflix called The Founder. That one's really good. What I do like about Jack Nicholson though is that he's, I want to say, a very good comic accurate Joker. Like he has all the gizmos and gadgets and stuff, the laughing gas, the hand buzzers. Like he is a very comic version of the Joker, which led to Heath Ledger being such a dispersal and reincarnation, kind of not reincarnation, but a new
new version, kind of a new take on the character for sure.
So I'm gonna say Batman '89. Do you agree?
Awesome.
Or?
Yeah, I would say so.
Okay.
I think just in terms of the plot itself, even though it might not be perfect as well, it's the Superman 1978 plot is out of this world. It's banana land.
You can give like a 5-second description of the plot. What would you say it is?
Okay, so Superman goes through the regular origin story. Okay. And then for some reason he leaves the farm, like after realizing that like he's an alien and whatever, and he kind of has his powers. He leaves the farm, like wanders the world for 15 years. No, he wanders the world to get to the Fortress of Solitude, somehow guided by Jor-El. And then Jor-El gives him this vision of all the kind of Kryptonian history. And in this vision, like he was 20 at that time, and he like ages like 5 years or something like that. He just ages 5 years randomly, which was kind of weird. Then of course Daily Planet, cool. Superman, cool. Interview with Lois Lane, cool. Then Lex Luthor, he comes up to the public. Lex Luthor is like, he somehow deduces that Kryptonian will be harmful to him. Just there's no logical reasoning for that.
Well, has he looked at a periodic table?
Perhaps.
K little r.
It's number 36. I did a project on it when I was a youth. Oh, nice. Yeah, Krypton, an actual thing. But yeah, so yeah, Lex Luthor. Oh gosh, it's very convoluted. But he has like 2 missiles. Superman can't stop him with his speed, even though he probably could. Then he has Superman open a box which has kryptonite in it. Superman's weakened. He's saved by one of Luthor's henchmen. Then he goes, stops everything, and then Lois dies in the explosions from like the missiles. So he circles the world.
Oh, this is the one where he turns back time.
He circles the world and has to spin in reverse to turn back time.
Because we all know that's how time travel works.
Yeah, oh, for sure. I mean, if you and I could do it, then it would work that way too.
No, see, we do the Bill and Ted way. We just hop into a photo booth.
Right. But yeah, it's a crazy plot. Good movie, but crazy plot. So, Batman 1989, second round.
Yeah, and that brings us... We finished the first round.
Excellent. So to summarize, we have our first second round matchup is Iron Man against Avengers. Should be good. Our second round matchup is Spider-Man 2, Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 2 against Captain America Winter Soldier. Our third second round matchup is Megamind versus Sky High. That should be a fun one. And our fourth second round matchup, Batman versus Batman Dark Knight versus Batman 1989.
Yes, very exciting.
So the first matchup of the second round is Iron Man versus the original Avengers.
Yes.
It's a tough one. 2 kind of more introductory, early stage MCU movies. I have to say, This is a tough one for me, Seth.
Who the heck is Seth?
I might be going towards Iron Man on this one.
Really?
I think if you ignore the spectacle of the Avengers and obviously the impact of seeing them all suit up, which obviously is a powerful force, I think Iron Man might be the better movie from start to finish.
I don't know. Personally, like Iron Man definitely is the better continuous story of a character, but what Avengers is able to do for just Iron Man himself as a title character and kind of just bringing him together and allowing him to trust others, I'd say that kind of Avengers would be the better movie here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, can you repeat that? What's your point? What are you saying?
I know I prefer Avengers. Just overall, like all the mini character arcs are compelling enough. We start to lay the seeds for the future to what comes, and we just got a lot of funny exchanges and moments. It's fun to see this team, who at the point have like never met together. We only had a few solo movies before this, finally come together to become
for sure
the Avengers.
That'd be the draw of the Avengers. But in terms of story, there's lag in some spots. We do see some kind of character development of them as a team, obviously, when they face a bit of internal conflict early on, and just the spectacle of the final battle. But in terms of Iron Man, we see him from beginning to finish being this kind of, obviously, the story of Iron Man, where he's kind of like that, I don't know, playboy, reckless, irresponsible, doesn't really care about anything. He's a child. He's forced to grow up quickly as well. Very cool in terms of getting his dome almost popped off. Yeah,
and we have
becoming Iron Man.
Yes, and we have a War Machine Mark 1, as people call him.
Yeah, the original suit talking about in the cave?
No,
what do you mean?
The original actor.
Oh, yeah.
Before it was switched out.
Right, to Don Cheadle. We had Terrence Howard or something like that. Terrence Howard.
Yeah, so Terrence Howard, don't get mad at us.
Yeah,
although if you won't get mad at us.
He's the one who lost out on millions.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah, so I can see Avengers.
Yeah.
Very good movie.
I can see Iron Man.
But what would you say? Why would you say Avengers over Iron Man, like in comparing the two?
I don't know. Just
you don't know? Sign of weakness. Iron Man wins. No.
How about this? We rock paper scissors for it.
No, tell me.
Okay, I want to rock paper scissors for it, but so guess we're actually gonna have to do our job. I don't know. Just Iron Man, just in the fact, just like the spectacle. I think it's more just the final battle, the last taste leaves in your mouth. Although I appreciate the relationship and kind of the building up and tearing down of the kind of father figure that was built up in Obadiah names.
Obadiah Stane, you're talking about?
Yes, Obadiah Stane.
Yeah, for sure. That was a kind of cool.
Did I mess up his name in the first round as well? I believe I did.
Hopefully, I'm sure it's fine.
I think I did.
You definitely said like Jebediah Stone.
Yes. So Jebediah Stone. He's not really the most compelling villain, even though Loki isn't compelling. I just love Loki, and
he's very compelling.
Like in Avengers, that is.
He's pretty compelling in Avengers. He's kind of a trickster.
Less so.
Fine. Obviously, you're not giving much of his history, but he's still Loki. The base is set.
Yeah. Like for the first Thor movie, Loki was definitely the best part.
Well, I think he's a good foil for the Avengers too, just kind of because of his lighthearted nature and the fact that at some moments he can be so deadly and so serious, as well as can have that repartee with Iron Man and others. You know what I mean?
His style,
Yeah.
He might just jump on top of someone and shove a metallic device over their head to, scan their eyeballs.
That's true. He might do that.
Yeah.
He might do more than scan the eyeballs.
Yeah. Especially with the Loki series coming. It's very exciting. But
yeah,
I don't know. Just final battle-wise, just seeing them all come together, fight Chitauri, eating shawarma, taking names.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Let's go Avengers. Because I wasn't necessarily taking devil's advocate because maybe I do think that Iron Man's a better movie. But if you have Avengers is something you remember. It was the seminal moment kind of where they came together in that first movie, and it was just the wow factor was off the charts. So yeah, let's go with Avengers.
Yeah. It's a really good choice. Okay, going to the next matchup of the second round, we have Spider-Man 2 versus Captain America, the Winter Soldier.
Okay, so Spider-Man 2 goes on to the third round. Our next bracket is... But no.
Once again, personal biases may set in here, but honestly, yes. Spider-Man 2 is just very near and dear to us, as we mentioned previously. Mm-hmm. I just want to...
Day by day, I gazed upon it.
Day by day,
I sighed with passion. Day by day, stop.
Rosie, I love this boy. And if you don't get it, watch Spider-Man 2.
Yeah. No, it's very good. Continue.
It's such a pivotal part of both our childhoods. We both grew up loving watching this movie.
Mm-hmm. But obviously, Captain America: Winter Soldier has its benefits too, and it's obviously we have our biases, but they're both great movies.
Yeah, we're not saying like
Spider-Man 2 is still like a movie despite our biases.
Yeah.
Like, and okay, so let's go in terms of villain. Villain, we have Robert Redford, Hydra kinda, versus Doc Ock. I give the edge to Doc Ock there. Doc Ock's terrifying.
Yes.
The fight scenes between him and Spider-Man are amazing. Alfred Molina, excellent actor. We kind of see, I think it was maybe one of the first we see those big name actors kind of. Well,
because Alfred Molina is more of a smaller character actor before this.
Yeah. No,
not smaller, but he was a character actor. He wasn't like
he was a serious actor, but I think it's the first
character.
time you obviously have like, for example, Michael Keaton, Christopher Reeve. Those are big actors taking the big roles in the movies. But it was the first time you saw maybe not the first time. Maybe my point's garbage. But what I'm trying to say is that you see this really a good actor, not a movie star,
definitely.
a good actor take this smaller role in a superhero movie and treat it like a big deal. You know what I mean?
And he's given stuff like the death of his wife, the one scene in the hospital was just.
Yeah, he has some duality for sure. It's the kind of a conflict, and we see conflict is a central theme throughout the whole movie between even Peter's character too of wanting to be Spider-Man, wanting to live his life. It's all about conflict.
And that's kind of like the real core and the real thing that resonates with people. Not everyone is a superhero has to decide that, but it's more of a moral conflict of do I choose to be, this work life, or do I choose family, and do I choose this?
Exactly.
It's something that we can all relate to, which is really the heart and soul of Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
On the other side, we the elevator scene again.
Right. The fight. That's the thing, because both of the fight scenes and such in this movie, very good.
So good.
Very, very good.
I just want to and also one thing I don't know, because I feel like in the modern day, Captain America: Winter Soldier will always be recognized as one of the best, but it gets undershadowed by Endgame and stuff. Personally, maybe a hot take, but I think this is one of the best MCU movies. We'll see how far it makes it if it goes against Avengers, but I just think for its world building and kind of showing what I like more about MCU, as I mentioned before, the lower level stuff more than the cosmic threats.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, kind of an adaptation of not Baron Zemo, Arn Zola.
Yeah, that was kind of cool. Yeah.
That's what the MCU does well, I think. They're good at taking comic concepts and transferring them well over.
Agreed, yeah. So it is definitely a very close one here. So I'd say action is pretty on par between the two. I'd say obviously Spider-Man 2 is a better villain. And I think in terms of you're able to maybe connect the characters more, because in Winter Soldier you kind of have Cap, you have a lot of different supporting characters, Sharon Carter, Black Widow, Falcon, of course, and I guess you are dealing with that kind of the central kind of theme or tenet of the movie is the Cap Bucky relationship, and that too, and maybe while it's good, maybe it kind of diminishes it if you didn't see the first one, or if you didn't really look at that Bucky connection as something if it can get overlooked is what I'm saying, unless you're a comics reader and you're aware of it.
Especially with the middle screen time that they did have in the first movie.
The
relationship isn't it's built upon later, with the flashbacks, and we see that there's actually these guys are brothers.
Yeah,
and then these guys, mean so much to one another in their lives.
A lot to each other. They care for each other deep.
Yes, they do. And we see this, but what I really think is a part of that movie as critical is kind of the setting, the fact that just introducing Hydra as kind of a secret, organization in S.H.I.E.L.D. It's such an interesting premise to me. It's thinking it's cool that anyone around you could be a possible imposter or Hydra agent. And I don't know, just I enjoy those secret spy espionage movies.
Yeah, very cool. So, what are we gonna go with here?
I think we're gonna go Spider-Man 2. Personal bias always wins.
Spider-Man 2 to the third round.
Nice.
Excellent. Okay, so on to our next matchup. We have Megamind against Sky High. Two lighthearted family movies. Very, very, very funny. So I don't know. I'm kind of leaning towards Megamind, putting personal bias aside.
Really?
I think it has a bit more depth than Sky High, where we actually have that theme of purpose, of Megamind trying to find his purpose and what he wants, what he is and what he wants to be. Is he a bad guy? Is he a good guy? Is he a guy? He's an alien. He's a large head.
He's a blue head, yes.
Yes, very blue.
I don't know.
The shape of your body is blue. The feeling I got it's it's a
cruel summer.
It's a cruel summer. Continue.
No, but if I want to, like, speaking of villains of the previous two, the villains in both these movies range drastically different because Sky High's most of the conflict comes from just like character in the world and kind of just like the just basically labeled high school teen threats and not really as much as the main villain.
Mm-hmm.
Then Megamind, even though there is a villain in Titan, the villain's really Megamind himself and kind of, as you said, choosing which life he's going to live because he's unhappy with his current life of being the villain.
That's
and
true.
Kind of being discriminated because he was, raised in a prison.
Is society the villain?
It's just the society, made
society is the villain.
Society, yes.
Yeah. No, but yeah, I think Megamind's a good high school movie. Obviously, that's kind of the draw of that too,
Megamind's
right?
a good high school movie.
Sorry, Sky High is a good high school movie. That's kind of the draw of that in that sense. It's like more of like a teen movie. It has that kind of little kiss in the cheek of that premise there, which is its draw. Very good movie, I agree. But
which one would you say was funnier though? Because like I laugh out loud in both of these movies.
Yeah.
It's just like
yeah.
If it's if it's just like if it's like Sky High, if they're just like
I love Sky High. I would say it's funniher just because I'm biased in a sense because it's my favorite. I enjoy it.
Yeah. If it's Will Strong jumping up on top of the lamppost and then just like
and all the humor is really subtle too, which is quite nice. And I love that kind of irony, that camp. It's very campy, Sky High.
Amazing.
And it's so subtle. They play it off so right. That's one of my favorite types of humor. So I'd probably go with that. But Megamind's definitely hilarious too. When I answer phones, I go "oh low."
Yes,
instead of hello, because that's what he does in the movie. It's really funny.
There's a lot of quotable lines in there.
Yeah, 100%. So
I love the bit where once again, I love the bit where the character walks in like he's pretending to be the boring librarian guy and himself.
Oh yeah,
and he's fighting himself, and it's like, oh no, he's so strong and masculine.
That was so funny. Oh my god. And
we had to watch Megamind.
We had to watch Megamind, yeah. And it's funny too. Didn't he he came to Earth as a baby? Why is he not familiar with Earth customs? But that's a discussion.
Because he was raised in a prison.
Yes, I suppose they say
society made him that way.
Yeah. So, anyways,
I think we both agree. Megamind moves on.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah.
Wow, your super veto is progressing.
Yes, it is.
Excellent. Okay, so next second round matchup we have.
Yes, final one, the second round.
The Dark Knight
versus Batman 89.
Batman 89. Very fun. Batman v Batman crime.
Mm-hmm.
So, interesting. Dark Knight, Batman 89, both more darker tones on Batman, in a sense. A bit more dour. Both excellent directors, Tim Burton and Christopher Nolan. Very good visual shots.
Mm-hmm. All the music and stuff.
Yeah. The themes are very good in both, between Danny Elfman and Hans Zimmer.
Yes.
Quite good. I would go maybe Dark Knight as the kick it off.
Kick it off.
Yeah.
Tick it off. Okay.
Shake it off.
Did I stutter?
Stanley Hudson.
Yes.
Okay, go.
What I want to talk really quickly before we can decide is one thing it's kind of I don't like about the Christopher Nolan Batman movies is the vehicles. The tumblers are cool stuff, but it isn't really Batman like.
Sure.
It's a different take. It's a more realistic, take of like what Batman could actually be in the real world, which I enjoy.
As an aside, what would you think about the Matt Reeves the Batmobile picture that was released?
Oh, I like it.
You like it?
It harkens back to kind of the old, just it being just a regular car. It's still realistic, but then you got like the cool engine in the back.
Yeah, it's kind of exposed.
I'm very excited for the Robert Pattinson version of that.
Looks cool. It looks very cool. Anyways, continue.
But the Tim Burton movies, they just like nail it between the Bat plane and the Bat car. Like all of Batman's gadgets and stuff are just incredible. And I don't know, just like they're like when I think Batmobile, I think many things, but that's definitely one that comes up to the surface. Is that amazing? Really 11-meter car or whatever, how long?
Yeah,
it's super long with the grappling hook on the wheels, so it can actually make corners. It's amazing.
It's pretty cool.
Speaking of suits, though, the
show,
gadgets,
TV show.
Yes, the TV show suits.
Yeah.
No, but Batman suits, I would definitely say. People aren't really a fan of the Christian Nolan Batman suits. I really like the one in Dark Knight. It's very subtle with the Batman logo, kind of like on the chest and stuff. And I enjoy the fact that they actually explain it being changed. like in the context of the movie.
Yeah.
And
Right,
his
right.
progression through the story is getting a new suit.
Right. I'm probably one of those people that don't like the Nolan suits as much. Like even the 89 suit, which is they're both like cool. I might even prefer
But you
the
can't
89
like move
suit.
your neck.
Yeah, it's
It's all
so
one piece.
it's so rigid. Like what the heck? Batman's he can move. He's not like an acrobat per se, but like he has good agility as well. That's why I kind of like the Ben Affleck suit very much.
Yeah, it's more just like kind of like a meshy material.
Yeah, it's
What
really
do you think of the Robert Pattinson suit?
That's cool. That's
From what
cool
we've
for
seen.
me. Yeah, we was kind of shrouded in darkness,
Yeah.
as per Batman. But yeah, no, it looked pretty cool. It looked kind of cool, Daredevil like, which I love Daredevil suit in the Netflix show. So yeah, I'm down for it.
I still need to watch Daredevil.
You should. It's so good.
Before
We'll do a podcast on that.
we can definitely do a podcast. On
Yeah, it's very good.
Yeah. So personally, I would say Dark Knight as well.
Mhm.
Just it's the Dark Knight.
Yeah, well, yes.
is my
Tighter plot, twists and turns, more of a thriller. Like those early movies, while good and they do capture a certain essence with the character, obviously the modern ones, I would say they vary more wildly between either hit or miss.
Yes, definitely.
As opposed to like back then, you can have good and bad elements of both, kind of in a sense, and enjoy something despite its flaws.
Mhm.
Now it's like
The market's so saturated that
now it's Superman has a mustache and we CGI out his mouth. I'll take
honestly,
it.
they should have kept the mustache, man. I've seen Mission Impossible Fallout.
It was so funny.
That's a
to watch.
nice.
It's a nice mustache. Number one,
weird.
I agree with you. Number two, it was so funny
It
watching
was
Justice
nice,
League where his mouth was CGI out. It was hilarious. But yeah, I think Dark Knight just better movie overall.
Yeah. So Dark Knight wins, but I just want to quickly touch on one other thing. In both these movies, they have the character Harvey Dent. In
True.
Batman '89, played by Billy D. Williams, who we mentioned previously. There was so basically after this movie, Tim Burton was taken off the project and moved to the amazing creators that gave us the Batman credit card.
Yeah.
For the next one,
didn't he do the second one too? He did. I'm pretty sure. I actually read
the one with the penguin. Yeah.
read a book recently about it. Yeah.
Well, basically, there was a comic idea that was posted a few years back that was basically going to tell the third story of Batman '89. Tell the same thing. You can Google it online if you Google Batman '89 comic, where they would have brought Harvey Dent in to be like Billy Williams in the comic to be like the full-fledged Two-Face with like the half scar and everything. It's a very interesting concept if you want to read about it and kind of its production and its
That'd be cool.
Well, anyway, so Dark Knight wins this round, and that moves us on to the third round.
Very fun. Okay, so first matchup of the third round conference finals, if you will, is the Avengers versus Spider-Man 2.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. I think maybe our bias won't get too much in this one because the Avengers is quite good. Very, very fun movie to watch.
Mm-hmm.
And again, we've discussed it before in terms of seeing all those characters the first time, but maybe we'll talk more directly in comparison. So I guess pros for Spider-Man 2 would be a very tight plot, excellent character development, especially focusing on Spider-Man. Avengers,
it is a pretty tight plot within its like concepts of
for the most part, yeah, for sure. It does have a bit of lulls in certain areas where
like
the tension isn't as heightened.
Yeah.
And obviously, again, I'm biased. I would argue Spider-Man 2 has the best character building, like background scenes of every movie, because it perfectly flows in the fact that you're able to, number one, get a feel of Peter's life that support his character development, supports the plot, but also you get those smaller moments within a movie, like for example when he's at Aunt May's house with Peter and MJ for his like a birthday dinner. Those smaller moments is what makes the movie. They give you breaks from the necessarily the plot lines. You don't feel like you're just going boom, 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 boom. This is the movie, but they also serve to enhance and increase the plot. I'd argue Spider-Man 2 does it better than any other movie I've seen. I haven't seen a whole lot of movies, but that's what I would argue in this sense.
Even though you're producing a movie podcast, but definitely what you're saying about the smaller scenes. No, really probably. I love the scene afterwards when Aunt May gives Peter the 20.
Yeah.
And he's like, I can't take this from you, Aunt May. Like you're like the house is gonna be taken away.
Yeah.
It's just those little character moments, and then 2 seconds later, Mr. Ridiculous takes the 20.
Yeah.
Mr. Ridiculous, all I got for this week is this 20. Well, we really haven't gone to because honestly, everyone has a different sort of taste, and we love this Sam Raimi campy Spider-Man humor.
Yeah.
And like
it's not even campy, but
it all like intertwines each other to like amazing. Like when Harry says, "Oh, I have nothing left," nothing left but Spider-Man. He insulted me by touching me. Like
humiliated me by touching me. I'm the
I
expert.
apologize to all the Spider-Man fans.
Mr. Osborn, the press will arrive soon. We should get out of here. Puts on his sunglasses, gets in the car.
How do you pay the bills, Otto? But
this breakthrough is something your father never dreamed of.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But not everyone is really a fan of that, unlike we, who are sophisticated people.
Well, it's not like they aren't fans of that, but they are mega fans of it.
Yeah, like we.
I understand what you mean. We're heavily biased.
Yeah, we're heavily biased, but I can see why people may not think this is like the best movie in that sense, and why people don't like that is because they don't get or understand or
they don't understand it. We're smarter than that. We understand everything. Yeah, that's their fault for not getting it, not ours.
Exactly. But I have to say, Spider-Man 2 takes the cake.
Yep, I would agree. Takes the cake and eats it too.
So Spider-Man 2 moves on to the final round.
Excellent. Okay. Conference finals. Dark Knight against Megamind. Two wildly, tonally differently movies.
Honestly,
that made sense.
Honestly, I was very surprised, even though I used my super veto on it. I'm very surprised Megamind made it this far.
Well, I'd say this is maybe a weaker side of the bracket. Incredible. The first round bracket I think was the toughest. I thought Incredibles would go to the conference finals.
I definitely thought it would be Incredibles and possibly Spider-Verse, but of course you used your super veto.
Yeah, we both used our super veto to keep the superior movies out of the first round. This is just our bias. Hey, Sky High didn't make it to the thing, so
yeah, very surprised about that. Seeing how many times I watched Sky High.
Yeah.
Yes, but we got Sky High. I mean, not Sky High. We got Megamind and the Dark Knight.
So do we just give it to the Dark Knight now, or
I don't know. Do we?
I think we do, given the stakes in the Dark Knight. I've mentioned the plot.
And the political climate if we don't choose the Dark Knight.
the amount of hate we're getting on our Twitter.
Yep.
From the 0 people that follow us on Twitter.
So follow us on Twitter. You can be the first follower.
At RobCast Podcast 1.
We will shout out the first people.
Yeah, whoever follows us, we will retweet you.
Yes.
We will show you on the podcast. Whoever follows us first.
You will be our close personal friends.
Yes. We will give you a key to my house.
Yes, of course.
But
we will have
unless just
lunch with you.
Let's like a spam account, like one of those
it's like one of those like really sketchy.
Yeah, like hot singles in your area.
Oh,
Message me on Tinder. We will not shout out that account.
Nice.
Anyways, back on track here.
Well,
Dark Knight versus Megamind. So let's talk in terms of the overall plot of the movie. What would you say in terms of that? Comparing the two.
The plot of the Dark Knight. There's a great video essay I watched a while ago. How he uses Dan Harmon's story structure, to kind of outlay the plot of the Dark Knight, and breaking down each act, because there's always a want and a need. Like Batman always wants to bring justice to Gotham City, but by the end he realizes that the only way he can bring justice is by sacrificing himself. And that's why I enjoy movies that don't always end in a happy note, which Megamind does.
Mm-hmm.
And The Dark Knight ends on a tone of uncertainty because Batman didn't really win. He may have took down the Joker. He may have restored some semblance and peace to Gotham, but at what price?
Right.
And he sacrifices himself.
And I think you're kind of making me more disposed to the Dark Knight as opposed to Megamind in that sense. You said you didn't like movies that ended on a happy ending, but I like that uncertainty. I really like that. It's different, right?
Yeah.
And that's what you kind of crave with
it
these
makes
things.
you think. Like,
yeah.
Because that movie, when in the end of Megamind, they're all just dancing around because movies did that back then. Every movie had to end in dancing.
Yeah. Did they dance?
Yeah. They all.
I'm bad.
They all. Yeah. I'm bad.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Anyways, not to discredit Megamind, which is a phenomenal movie in its own right, but I think we're comparing two wildly different movies.
Especially.
Megamind's hilarious, family movie. Dark Knight, maybe more of a movie. We talked about The Incredibles, how it was kind of able to transcend that to become a good movie. Mm-hmm. And while Megamind, sure, definitely a great movie, good plot, whatever. We talked about a lot of the themes. I think The Dark Knight is more of a good movie than Megamind, if that makes sense.
I believe so as well.
Okay, cool. So DK against S2 in the finals. Dark Knight, Spider-Man 2.
The final countdown.
We'll be back after these messages. You're driving home, and suddenly your heart starts to heat up.
Josh.
You take an Advil cold pill,
No.
And your heartburn recedes.
Joshua, no. I told you can't bring in your own fake sponsorship.
This podcast is brought to you by Advil.
No,
Advil.
it's not. No.
Advil, give us money.
If you want sponsors, great. But Joshua, you cannot have your own paid sponsorship here.
I can do what I want. This is my podcast.
No, whose name is on the podcast?
This is officially called the JoshCast podcast.
Okay, welcome to the JoshCast.
Welcome to the JoshCast podcast, where we discuss one thing and one thing only:
Joshua,
the government and why it's being held unaccountable.
And also the NHL.
NHL. Yeah.
Okay, we'll be right back after this break.
Let's start.
Yes,
it's been a wild podcast. We've had a lot of cuts too, eh?
Yeah, a lot of cuts.
A lot of interruptions.
And
raccoons and just wildness. Ads. Anyways, Spider-Man 2, Dark Knight, both the second movies in their trilogies, which is interesting coinkydink, as the kids say. How do you feel that affects them, having that first movie, that origin already set to kind of build off of in the second movie?
Well, of course, in both cases, both Spider-Man 1 and Batman Begins were big phenomenons at the time. Spider-Man, that was in the range with X-Men and Blade, or kind of like the first superhero comic movie, and people really grasped to that. And same way, Batman, it was a cultural phenomenon. People came out to the theaters. It was big. The history of kind of the Batman movies was previously all campy and stuff, and this was a new, fresh take to it, and people were excited to see what was next.
For sure, because definitely, especially with the prior releases, as you kind of mentioned, with the bad credit card, the Batman and Robin and Batman Forever, yes. That definitely kind of.
Oh wait, do you mean Batman, the one with the nipples?
Yes. People definitely changed the perception regarding Batman, especially after the first two, Batman 1989 and Batman Returns as well. But you're absolutely right. In terms of X-Men came out in 2000, kind of opened the door a little bit, but then obviously I think Spider-Man and Batman Begins, huge phenomenons. They were these are the kind of the movies that people will remember about these characters, especially this generation as well. And I think, to my previous question about the origins and having that first movie, definitely helps, because in an origin movie you have to not waste, but you have to dedicate a lot of time to kind of building that character, building the origin. Having that already set, you're able to kind of take it in new ways if you do it properly, and they definitely were able to with these two movies in terms of Dark Knight and Spider-Man 2.
Especially jumping into knowing the relationships between Mary Jane and Peter, and Bruce and Rachel. Why did you say that name? No, but just knowing these relationships they have with them, and kind of just being able just to jump into the conflict of the movies, on the personal side, was a very good strength of both. Bruce losing Rachel at the midpoint of the movie, when she gets
it's more of near the climax rather than midpoint.
Well, if you break it down structurally, Joshua, the midpoint is situated approximately 3/4 into the movie.
That's wrong.
And
that's incorrect.
Mathematically.
Yeah, if you have a line which is 4 centimeters, a midpoint is at 2 centimeters, not 3 centimeters.
Okay, we'll go back to Dark Knight DVD on. No, I've actually on VHS.
Let's go. Time in Dark Knight when Rachel takes the fire bath.
The fire bath, yes. Well, technically Harvey takes the fire bath.
They're not giving me an exact time in the movie.
Okay. Well, mathematics. No, maybe not. But
the Dark Knight, Rachel's death, but there's All-Star.
Wait, what?
I think they mean Smash Mouth. All-Star. I'm not gonna play that right now.
It's a picture of Shrek. We don't need that.
Anyways.
No, but bothly. The personal relationships really drive.
Oh, for sure. And like you said, having those already established there, it allows it to kind of spend more time on the main characters themselves without having to spend a lot of time kind of building up how the other characters, among them Rachel and Mary Jane, factor into Peter and Bruce's life as well, which kind of does that a service as well.
Yeah, as we talked about the thematic, kind of strengths of Spider-Man 2 originally, but what I really think, and they go into this in the third Christopher Nolan Batman movie, is the ability to wear the mask, and if you are going to do it, and the sacrifices you have to make. And you could definitely see, as we said for Superman, I love the distinction between Bruce Wayne and Batman in these movies, in the fact that
very fun,
and the fact that Batman is who Bruce is, and Bruce Wayne is the mask that he has to put on.
Yeah, very good.
And the fact that he isn't really eccentric billionaire, he doesn't really, go out in boats with like supermodels.
That's a very, very true point. Bruce Wayne literally is the mask.
Is the mask that
very true.
And I always think that's a very interesting kind of side to Batman. It's like this is who he is. Like he's someone who like fights crime and stuff. In Batman Begins, we see that in the beginning of the movie, that's not who Bruce Wayne is. He isn't someone who just goes out and throws money at things. He's someone who is calculated and wants justice, which is Batman.
Yeah, agreed. And to that point, obviously in the Dark Knight Rises, when he's in the cave and stuff, he's out of costume for the most part, just because that thing is made of plastic and it looks like he'd overheat it in 2 seconds. But I was reading the Batman Hush comic actually this past week, and even when he's in the Batcave, even like doing stuff in the Batcave, he's like always in costume. He's always in the Bat costume, and I think that kind of lends itself to your point about he is Batman. Bruce Wayne is the mask. Like that's who he is at his core, which is quite interesting too. And obviously in Spider-Man, we kind of get that duality as well with where does Spider-Man begin and Peter Parker end? How much of Peter Parker is Spider-Man and vice versa? Where does he want to live this regular life, or what responsibility does he have to be Spider-Man to continue to do that? And what does he truly want? What is Peter Parker? Who is Peter Parker?
And we see his consequences to his action when he puts down the mask.
Yeah, for sure.
And that, like, I love that scene where
raindrops are falling on my head.
It's the hot dog, but no, like we see that there is consequences to these actions, and
for sure. And well, it's not necessarily a matter of it. It is in a sense consequences, but is it a consequence? That's the kind of question he's asking. Is it, are these consequences of me not being Spider-Man, or are these things that just happen? Is this just the world? Or do I have this responsibility, not to harken too much back to the famous line, but does he have this responsibility to be there for these people and to help these people because he can or he could?
Well, a wise man named Uncle Ben once said, if you have a certain ability, commitment to something,
you have an obligation to something.
If you have an obligation to something, you better fulfill that obligation to the fullest.
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah, and the Amazing Spider-Man, where they tried so hard not to say with great power because great
or like in Spider-Man Homecoming, just say the words, man.
Yeah,
it's like
in Spider-Man Homecoming, it was like
the bad stuff happened. Then the bad stuff happened because of you.
Yeah, it's so good. Just say it, man.
But one thing I really do love is, as we said earlier, personal moments in Spider-Man 2 was, right before the raindrops were falling on my head scene, one of the most emotional scenes in the movie, where Peter's back in that car the last time he talked to his uncle before he was shot and died, and talks about how he can't do this anymore. And,
that was a very good scene where he's having kind of like this dream sequence type thing where he's talking to Uncle Ben, and he figuratively says, I can't do this, I can't live up to this anymore.
I can't be the man you want me to be. And then, I don't know, just tonal changes so well, because the next scene in the movie is literally the scene we're talking about, raindrops are falling on my head. It goes from such an emotional scene and perfectly balanced to such a kind of fun and lighthearted scene, but the undertone is this emotional thing, as we see, as we said before, not consequences, but as we see the actions or implications of what Peter has decided and how he affects on his life. He goes back to school and stuff, and life is good, but there's something inside that he feels is wrong because people can be hurt, things are happening, and it's when Mary Jane is someone he's loved, kind of comes back where his powers do come back and he fulfills himself as Spider-Man. And that's why I think Spider-Man 2 is the best movie of all time.
That's what we can balance, right? I mean, it spends a lot of time on the plot in terms of, well, let's talk about the Joker and Dr. Octopus, right? I obviously, despite the bias, I might say Joker is a better villain in this sense too.
I would say so as well.
Yeah, even though Doc Ock, Alfred Molina, absolutely fantastic, and I even think the presence of Harvey Dent, that kind of, maybe, is this a Harvey Dent movie or a Batman movie? Because I'm not saying that's a bad thing as well.
No, I see your point there. Cause
it's cool. I think that's a good thing. Having him as like that supporting character is interesting. Adds a bit of intrigue in it.
White Knight.
Exactly. I believe in Harvey Dent. Which is, he says in the movie, right?
I know, but it's so...
He says it in the movie, right?
He does. I love that line so much.
I was listening a couple weeks ago to this audio recording of Batman The Long Halloween, and he keeps repeating it throughout that series, which is really cool too.
Okay, you're gonna send me that afterwards because that sounds interesting.
Yeah, it's a phenomenal thing.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyways, again, another example of kind of how these movies kind of take from the comics in a bit. But yeah, so it's interesting. It's a tough nugget to crack for sure. Yeah. Spider-Man 2, eh?
Yeah, I think Spider-Man 2. I don't know. It makes me feel something. Like
pros for Dark Knight
okay.
would be tone, kind of different tone, but darker tone, which is kind of cool. Presence of Joker and Harvey Dent / Two-Face, two good villains.
The sense of just like the well, these movies have status, but like also just like presence, because Joker is such a presence in kind of culture and how we view it today, and like in kind of Batman movies. Like this movie is the golden standard of all Batman movies.
Yep, 100%.
As Spider-Man 2 is more controversial in what is the best Spider-Man movie, because I know a lot of people do enjoy the new Tom Holland ones, even though
they're wrong.
Yes.
They're good movies.
Yeah, I would say they're good movies. Which one's better for you, Homecoming or Far From Home?
I have to rewatch Far From Home again, but I kind of like Far From Home better than Homecoming.
I like Homecoming.
Yeah, they're both good. They're both good movies.
That's a conversation for another day.
Yeah. Anyway, other pros for Dark Knight. Oh, I was about to say something, but I forgot. Plot. I'd say the plot is, in terms of the twists and turns, I've said this a million times this podcast, but it's very tightly fit. I'd give that over Spider-Man 2. So Spider-Man 2 pros, I guess, would be, I'd say emotional impact Spider-Man 2 is greater. Character development's a lot better. Visuals as well are different, although good. Yeah. When I think of this movie, I think of the gold glow. Mm-hmm. Gold glow red, in terms of they have a lot of shots of the sun rising over New York. They have that, obviously they have the big sunball thing, where that scene at the end where they're in the abandoned like warehouse by the water or whatever.
It's also like imagery of like comic panels like Doc Ock fading to the water.
Yeah, very cool. Spider-Man like in a kind of silhouetted climbing on the beam down to Mary Jane. I think supporting cast as well. Well, in Dark Knight it's good too, but Spider-Man 2 especially, like every character has their role and everything.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. What do you think about the action in these two movies? Because some of these movies really do bring the action more than like a lot of the other movies on these brackets. From the train sequence to Spider-Man 2, which is iconic. Could we just talk about the train sequence for a minute?
I think we have to do that.
So like emotional stakes, like Doc Ock just went through a car, Peter Parker at a coffee house, and he's gonna go rescue MJ. He got his powers back. He's up there, and there's a lot of deleted scenes from this, which I really enjoy, which kind of justifies when they like break through the buildings, and Spider-Man gets hit by a train at some point, and just it's insane. How
you have to watch that. They have Spider-Man 2.1. Where they add all the deleted scenes in.
So I've seen it, yes.
Yeah, we have to watch it again. So good.
There's this deleted scene from Spider-Man 2, which I love. It's after Peter thrown away the suit, and the garbage man comes and gives it to J. Jonah Jameson. Well, he buys it from him.
Oh, yeah.
And it's J. Jonah Jameson. J.K. Simmons in the suit with a cigar in his mouth, just on his desk, like flipping around.
Yeah.
And then Betty Brant and everyone else is just kind of...
Huffin'!
It's just looking through the blinds, just like bewildered at like this amazing sight.
Well, I think that kind of also harkens back to I remember reading this one comic panel where it was basically why J. Jonah Jameson hates Spider-Man, where he was kind of alone just musing on it, and it's because like he feels inadequate. Essentially, he's like, how could he live up to that? Someone who's able to do all these different things and who has this power. It's feelings of inadequacy, where his kind of resentment stems from, which I think is pretty cool. But aside from that, train sequence is, I think. I'm definitely willing to listen to more debate because there's been a lot of good action sequences in the comic book movie. It's definitely one of the best action sequences in the comic book movie. Mm-hmm. And the action in Spider-Man 2 is better than The Dark Knight just because...
Well, The Dark Knight has a lot of strengths to it as well.
Yes, but I think...
I'm just going to bring this up quickly. And I think the real standout one's not really the end, but more of just the...
the rush to get Rachel and Harvey, I guess?
Not the rush, but the...
the Joker interrogation scene?
Okay. Yes.
That was really good.
Okay, we can talk about it.
But that was one of my favorite scenes.
I know, just that scene itself, because a lot of the conflict when it like comes to the climax is just like kind of a moral conflict in the fight for Gotham, and kind of just less than the actual punching and stuff. The real big action sequence is once Harvey Dent has revealed himself to be Batman, quote unquote. Mm-hmm. Joker goes to capture him, and like he has the 18-wheeler. It's like. Slaughter is the best medicine or something. Like he takes laughter and puts the S in front of it, And then he has like the rocket launchers and stuff, and he's trying to get the prison car.
Yes.
They do the truck flip, and it's insane.
Yeah.
And then
Very good.
Batman has like the bike.
Yeah, so there is a lot of good action sequences in Dark Knight too.
And the ones I do like Batman's motorcycle. Like Templar's cool, but like Batman's motorcycle, like how it comes out of the car, like I really
that's pretty cool. But I will say for Spider-Man 2 that I think, given that he has more of a worthy adversary to kind of get those fights with, in Doc Ock, that kind of lends a bit more to those scenes.
Mm-hmm.
Favorite Batman fight sequence is in Batman versus Superman, where he's trying to save Martha.
Yes.
Save Martha!
It's truly a purely emotional. Why did you say that name?
Why did you say that name?
Why did you say that name? And
this is a loud podcast.
And now we get sued for breaking everyone's eardrums.
But yeah, very good conflict in both movies in terms of the action.
No, I love them.
So yeah, Spider-Man 2.
Spider-Man.
That's what we're gonna go with. I guess based on a lot of things we said, I think for me it's the emotional. Obviously, watching it growing up, but the emotional attachment. The movie fosters that emotion in you. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Dark Knight is an exhilarating ride from start to finish, which sounds like it could be on the back of a book, but in terms of the twists and turns,
cover description, it's exhilarating.
Yeah, exactly. New York Times, Washington Post, RobCast.
RobCast.
But yeah, both are definitely phenomenal movies, and it is a lot closer than you'd indicate. It's definitely hard to compare them, but I definitely go with Spider-Man 2. Best superhero movie among the ones in our bracket.
Yes.
Given the criteria we impose on it.
Definitely.
Excellent. Wow. So Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
Winner of the official 2020 Superhero Showdown March Madness bracket on the RobCast. Wow. How do you feel about this, Rob?
I feel pretty happy with that decision. A few surprises there. I'm kind of surprised that Spider-Verse didn't really make it out the first round.
Megamind made a fairy tale or Cinderella run to the conference finals.
Yeah, I was. Like I said, it was my veto pick, but I was very surprised. Also, like I was kind of hoping that Guardians would possibly get out of the first round as well, but against the
formidable Avengers.
Yeah, formidable Avengers. I'm pretty happy with the choices. You know, we had some good talks today, and please, tweet us your brackets on RobCast.
We're going to post this bracket on our Twitter. Yeah, send us your versions of them, perhaps. Our Twitter is at RobCastPodcast1, if I'm not mistaken. It's also, if you look at our account on Anchor or our dashboard, you can find it there as well. Yeah. You can also email us at RobCastPodcast1. Send us audio messages on Anchor, and we will probably feature them in the podcast because we have 17 listeners. Yes. What are the odds that anyone is listening at this point, Rob?
No, the average listening time would have to be 0.2 seconds, so we lost them a while ago. But for anyone who is wondering
how I am today, I'm doing okay.
Oh, are you? Good to hear.
Yeah, how about you?
I'm doing great, but what are you doing recently? Like, what do you want to recommend to the fine people?
I've been getting lean, getting hard, just working out at times.
Like as in like books or movies or TV shows. Not your personal workout.
I've been at home, quarantined quarantined, but stay at home, don't go large crowds. So I recently read a book about Lance Armstrong and the whole saga of that called Cycle of Lies. Basically takes from start to finish where he came into the cycling industry, a bit about his youth, and the whole saga of him taking steroids, lying about it repeatedly, and eventually getting banned for life. Not the nicest guy by the looks of the book, but it's a good book. Very interesting to read about. 100%. That's what I've been kind of reading lately. Looking for something. What's the book called again? Cycle of Lies.
Cycle of Lies. Okay.
By Juliet something or other.
Okay. You can probably find it if you Google it.
Yeah, and I think next I'm going to continue reading Hamlet, which I picked up again. It's kind of fun to read a little bit of Shakespeare. How about you? What have you been kind of kicking around the old cranium lately?
I've been watching a lot of movies recently. As well for a lot of The Office again.
Yeah, for sure.
For like my 17,000th time. But a movie I did watch recently, I think it was like a week back or something, was
Ice Princess.
Wait, what?
Whiplash?
Whiplash with J.K. Simmons from
Miles Teller. Oh yeah, we didn't even mention J.K. Simmons in our.
Oh yeah, J.K.
A whole lot. Okay,
he is literally amazing.
We're done. He's great.
We love J.K. Simmons.
We love him.
On the
emotionally
podcast.
I love you, J.K. Simmons.
Yes, please come to our podcast.
Yes.
Even if it's not your tempo, come to our podcast.
Please yell at us.
Yes. But Whiplash, it's amazing.
I've heard good things.
It's really good. What's
it about briefly?
It's basically this drummer who likes jazz, and he likes it so much that he's willing to go to extremes. And then J.K. Simmons is a guy who likes jazz so much that he's willing to push people to the extremes. And it's kind of just this conflict of it poses like a lot of questions about like the industry. It's like you only people push you so hard, and as soon as you give up, it means that you're not ready for this. And like there's a scene, I'm like it's a minor spoiler, but basically, the main character has to get to this concert, and he's driving his car because he's late, and he has to drive back to pick up his drumsticks, and he's driving back, and he gets hit by a car, and the car flips over.
Oh, damn.
So he gets out of the car, grabs his drumsticks, runs 3 blocks, and gets on Price of Pine stage, and he plays the concert with this after getting hit by a car crash, bleeding all over the drum set.
That sounds really good.
It's intense.
Yeah.
I was trying to multitask and do some stuff as I was watching it, and then I just ended up just throwing it whatever.
Yeah. I get that. I do that all the time.
And it's really good. Just kind of the relationship. One line I do like from it is J.K. Simmons tells me.
Oh yeah, he says if you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
So no, not exactly that. But what I think is the core of the movie is that there are no 2 words in human language more harmful than good job. And
hello.
No, and that's kind of.
How about you? Swears profusely.
And that is the main centerfold of the movie. The fact that just positive encouragement is not the way he does things, and he pushes greatness through his methods, which work in the end.
Speaking of my Babcock, that sounds like a really toxic way to manage people.
Yes, I don't know. It's not for everyone, but it's very interesting to think about and kind of see. It's a very great movie. If you have a chance to check it out, definitely do that.
Excellent.
Is that everything?
Looks like we are done for today. Thank you so much if you are listening up to this point. If you are anyone other than my or Rob's immediate family and you're listening up to this point, please tweet us, because I would be shocked if someone is listening at this point. Somebody's listening to my words, my mouth on the mic,
Okay, Josh,
me talking. But yeah, no, thank you for listening. We love you.
Yes, we do.
Tweet us your bracket or whatever.
Email us.
Call us. We're really lonely.
Please tell us anything. If you have any episode ideas that you want.
Yeah, tell us what to do, because I will do anything for my listeners. Mm-hmm. Anything.
And also don't forget, if you want to support us directly, there's the affiliation link.
Can they send us money?
Yeah, they can send us money.
They can send us money?
Yes, they can.
What? Send us money. What are they send us money?
We're gonna send ourselves money to make it seem like other people
yeah,
send us money.
Exactly. They take off a 10% fee, so we're just losing 10% every time.
But we want to thank everyone.
Yeah. Where can they send us money? You didn't say.
There's a feature in the Anchor website. If you go to our dashboard.
Please, I need this. Please send me money.
If you go to our site, we'll link it down in the description.
Whenever I try to get close to the laptop or the mic, I kind of lean in. I don't even know if I'm leaning into the mic. Maybe, hopefully.
I don't know.
Maybe, hopefully not.
Hopefully not.
Anyways.
Yeah, but you can support us.
Just go on Anchor and
just figure it out. We have our public site.
Yeah, you can figure it out if you want to send us money.
If you really want to send us money, you can probably figure it out.
Yeah.
Or you can just put it in an envelope. Just address it.
My address is 33.
Just 147295
Greendale Lane.
Green Hill Zone.
Yeah. Okay. This is a train wreck. We will see you later, RobCastians.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what they call them.
No. Okay. So next time on the RobCast podcast, keep it fresh, guys.
Bye.